What's up, guys? Brian Elwood, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to choose the perfect niche for your online coaching business. I've made over $2 million in the online coaching space inside of 3 different niches, and I made some huge mistakes. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to work with some of the greatest coaches to try to figure this out. I think a lot of the advice out there about choosing your niche is completely wrong. So in this presentation, I'm going to give you the end-all be-all guide. I'm going to present you a couple of tests that are really going to help you land on that ideal niche for you so that you can build a thriving coaching business that lasts a long time and you're excited to wake up and work on it, excited to serve your clients so that you can grow it sustainably over the long run. We really do not want to get this decision wrong, because if we do, then we end up hating our business and changing our niche over and over again, and that leads to basically zero momentum. Now, I have also written this book, Nail Your Niche, and you can grab this on Amazon or at nailyourniche.net and get it with a bunch of bonuses that goes into a lot more detail on what we're going to cover today. But I'm going to give you today the best parts so that you can choose your niche today and hit the ground running. So first, let's define what niche actually means. Niche refers to the general subject that you will coach on. It could be like weight loss or investing or martial arts. We're not trying to figure out the very specific outcome that you would deliver. Now, this is very important. Like if you help people lose 20 pounds through intermittent fasting or whatever, that is a much more powerful like offer or benefit statement versus just saying, I'm a nutrition coach, but you would still be in the realm of health. And so we want to figure out the broad general topic that you're going to create content within, that your offers are going to be nestled within. That is the foundational decision upon which we can figure out everything else. A little bit about me. If you don't know me, my name is Brian Elwood. I started flipping houses. I grew my house flipping business to over $1 million per year. I bought a few dozen rental properties and I achieved financial freedom, but I was not really fulfilled by money. I wanted to make a difference in the world, and I didn't feel like I was helping people. So I started coaching, and my first niche was helping people invest in real estate. And I wrote this book that you see here called Fire Yourself. I did this for about 5 years, coaching in the real estate space. At the peak, that business was doing about $25,000 or $30,000 per month. The thing that sucks is like right when I was making the most money is when I was the most sick of it. I was just so tired of talking about real estate. Like if I had to teach one more person how to do the math on how to buy a rental property, I was going to be sick. I really loved talking about the things I talk about now: online business, coaching, marketing, writing, content creation. And so I actually made the very difficult decision to switch my niche entirely, to shut down a multi-6-figure per year coaching business and switch to helping people start their own coaching businesses, because this is where my passion lied. Like I was obsessed with reading books, going to seminars, and learning online marketing and content creation and writing and funnels. And like I just to this day really love all of that stuff. And there was just this disconnect between the things that I loved and the things that I was helping my clients with. Like I had a portfolio, but I wasn't really buying that many more houses. I wasn't interested in it. I never learned anything new about real estate. And so it just felt like the portal was blocked. Like I was learning all this new useful things, but then when it came time to serving my clients, I couldn't teach them any of this stuff because they didn't have any interest in that. They just came to me to learn how to buy a rental property, and my skills on that were stagnating. I don't want you to end up choosing the wrong niche right out of the gate, or choosing a niche that works for a while like I did, but then having to pivot and entirely do something new, because the problem with that is, I built an audience of tens of thousands. And when I pivoted to helping them with coaching, most of them didn't come with me because it was just an entirely different thing. So I basically had to start over from scratch. I don't want you to build a business that you will shut down one day like I did. And so let's give you the best possible chance of choosing your niche correctly on the first try. This is such a more efficient way to make sure that your business has longevity. And also know that you're not tied to your decision forever. You can broaden as you grow your audience, okay? But you shouldn't start out in more than one niche. You shouldn't be like, I'm a health and a wealth coach. You would be spreading yourself too thin. You wouldn't open like a sandwich store and a craft store at the same time. And so you also wouldn't be an investing coach and a health coach, or try to just go too broad and say I'm a life coach or I'm help people with personal growth. Those types of people always struggle. You can do that if you're Tony Robbins, but you can't model Tony Robbins when it comes to making the decision for yourself. He didn't start that way, right? He started more niche and broadened as his audience grew, and he gained more credibility. And we all have to follow that same path. So plant your flag in one topic, stay there until your business is paying the bills. Okay. Now let's talk about your passion versus your skills. So if you're really passionate about something and then you also are really great at it, then your niche is already staring you in the face. Like if you love nutrition, you're reading books on nutrition all the time, listening to podcasts, and you already have a bunch of skill in helping other people like dial in their nutrition and lose weight, you don't need to really watch this video because you have your niche and it's right in front of you, and you just need to go and get after it and build your audience and start getting clients. But for most people, it's not that easy. Like you probably wouldn't be watching this if you were clear on your niche. A lot of people are passionate about something, but they are good at something else, right? They may have like really good skills in investing in stocks, but they're really passionate about like, yoga or something like that. But what if yoga is like a new thing that you don't have this big track record in? What do you coach people on, investing or yoga? It's easy for people to say, just follow your passions, right? And I will say that here in a moment because I'm a believer in that. But we also need to be clear about what will happen if you do that. The pros and cons of choosing your passion over your skills when it comes to selecting your niche. If you were to choose the thing that you were just skilled at, here's the benefits. You'll have more credibility in this thing, which means you're going to get more customers early on. Like I got clients for my real estate offer when I started coaching pretty much right away because I had a portfolio of 35 houses. I had flipped hundreds of houses. Credibility trumps everything. It's a massive unlock, obviously, when you have the credibility behind your thing when it comes to making sales. And then you're also going to have more confidence because you know that you can do this thing, which also translates to more sales. You're going to have more skills, which means greater client results. And the whole thing is going to be less intimidating. A lot of coaches aren't even doing anything because they have imposter syndrome. But if you choose something you're really great at, you're not going to likely experience that, or at least as much of it. So those are all great reasons to choose the thing that you already have skills in. But is it enough to choose a niche that you are not passionate about? Well, choosing something that you're good at, but not passionate about, that actually reminds me of a lot of conventional wisdom that I've gotten in my life. Like, Brian, you need to be realistic. You need to be practical. You need to be safe. Or it would be like choosing a spouse because they are mature and they have a great job. And other people say that you guys are, a great fit for each other. And you go with that tried and true safe person versus the other person who might not have their shit together so much, but they're like your soulmate and you love them deeply. Now, I can't tell you which direction is definitely going to be best for you. But if it were me, I would risk it all for love. I'm cheesy like that. I believe in the sustaining power of choosing something you love to do. There is a lot of research that looks at intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Now, intrinsic motivation is you're doing something because you want to. Like you don't have to motivate yourself to watch your Netflix shows, or some people are intrinsically motivated to eat healthy and go to yoga class or whatever. And then extrinsic is like you are doing something for some kind of external reward. Like most people going to work, they do it for a paycheck. They don't like it, but they do it because they're extrinsically motivated to do so. The studies show intrinsic motivation is 4 times more powerful than extrinsic motivation. It leads to much better results, sustained happiness. It's just more effective overall. Conventional wisdom, society, your parents will tell you differently. Okay. But I believe that this is incorrect. I believe that we deserve to live lives where we love what we do and we're passionate about it. Now, there are some downsides to this that we should talk about, right? This is why people tell you not to do this. Like if you were passionate about leadership, but you were skilled at investing, and you're like, I'm going to be a leadership coach because that's where my heart is, you're going to have a harder time getting started, okay? You don't have experience, you don't have confidence, you don't have a track record. You're going to have to really bust your ass at this leadership thing and make yourself a spot in the conversation around leadership when there's already so many people doing that. You may have to charge less. You may have to work for free. I tell my clients this all the time. If they're a new coach, I'm like, you need to go out and get your first 3 clients for free and establish some kind of track record. If it were me, I would also look at finding a niche within leadership. Like I'd be a leadership coach for CEOs or something very specific. And I would not be generalized. That would be a much more dangerous business plan, is to be a generic leadership coach when you're just a nobody and you don't have a track record. Okay. So that also can help. But these are the downsides of you choosing something you're passionate about over the thing you already have skills in today. The upside, however, is that you would have the staying power that comes with passion. One of my favorite quotes is from Michael Jordan. It's on the secret to being great at basketball. He says simply that you got to fall in love with the game. Now think about that. Best basketball player ever is saying the secret to being great at basketball is to fall in love with the game. Now, why do you think he said that? To me, it points back to the same studies that have been done that have shown over and over again, when you're intrinsically motivated to do something because you love it, you will end up getting better results. You will put that extra little bit. You will stay at the gym and shoot hoops for 2 extra hours and study on your, days off, and you will go that extra mile simply because you want to, not because you're doing it for an extrinsic reward. Like Michael did not say you got to fall in love with winning championships and trophies. He said you got to fall in love with the game of basketball itself. I believe there is so much wisdom in that quote. The love of the game, according to Michael, is the fuel that drives you to become better. So your passion for something is like the gas in the tank that keeps things running. And if you run out of gas, like I did with my real estate business, then nothing else matters. It doesn't really matter how much money you stand to make. If you just wake up and you're just like, I do not want to do this anymore, you're screwed. But however, if you show up with a full tank every day because you love it and you're intrinsically motivated to do it, then how much further can you go if your gas tank is always on full? And let's talk about what it actually takes to win. Like, what do we actually have to do with this full tank of gas? Because if you really want to succeed online, you have to publish content, you have to create products, you have to start conversations, do this consistently for years. All the gurus will tell you that consistency over the long term is how you win. And so you're going to need to love what you do. You're going to need a full gas tank if you are going to do something for years. You cannot use motivation and willpower that come in those short little excited bursts to get you through something that takes years. You have to intrinsically love what you do. Here's a picture of me on a call with some clients breaking down how to buy a house. Now, of course, this is probably just a screenshot where I look goofy, but to be honest, it encapsulates well the way that I felt during a lot of those calls, wherein I was just simply running the numbers on how to invest in rental property. I spent 5 years doing this before I shut it down, even though it was making multiple 6 figures, simply because my gas tank ran out. I did not love it anymore. And so I always think about, what if instead I had slowed down and I had figured out what I truly loved and was interested in and wouldn't want to quit. And there's caveats to this. I didn't actually know that I would love the world of online marketing and writing and books and all the things that I do now as much as I do. Like back then, I was still exploring my curiosities and my interests and figuring things out. But let's just say, in theory, I could have had a conversation with a great coach, and maybe they would have identified that my true passion was no longer real estate and helped me get on the path that was similar or the same to what I do now, but from day one. So if I had, instead of coaching for 5 years in real estate, started doing what I do now 5 years earlier, what would the difference have been if I put those 5 years of effort towards this instead? I believe even if I had gotten a much slower start and I had to really work my way up and just kind of be a journalist and interview people, and, I didn't have any kind of a track record, it would have been a slow start, but I am positive that I would be much further along than I am today had I had that extra 5 years, because that is a lot of time to gain momentum. I do remember the moment I made the decision to coach in the real estate space. There was a mentor of mine who assured me it was the right thing to do. We were at a real estate mastermind, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you got to be a real estate coach." And it did feel logical and realistic, but it also felt a little off when he gave me the advice. And so maybe if I had slowed down and listened to my heart, I would have identified that and I would have ended up elsewhere. Maybe if I had looked back and seen what I've been doing my whole life, like I have been writing and producing content about entrepreneurship and marketing for years prior to becoming a real estate coach. Like, you would just had to look at my computer's hard drive to see where my passion was. Like, this is me with my daughter, Everly. Let's say she's taking a nap in the stroller. Oh, this is an older picture. She doesn't nap during the day anymore. But if you saw me pushing her while she was asleep with my AirPods in on a Saturday, I'd be listening to a podcast or an audiobook about online marketing, coaching, business, self-improvement. And if you looked at the books on my bookshelf, you'd see books on those same topics. If you saw me at the coffee shop passionately speaking to someone else, it would be about personal growth or one of these things, okay? There's me at the coffee shop. I love this stuff. When my wife has a commitment on a Sunday, if she takes my girls with her, I'll grab my backpack, my computer, some books, and I'll head to the coffee shop, spend a couple hours reading and writing on these subjects. I enjoy every minute of it. And when I was coaching in real estate, like I said, I was consuming information about building an education business. During the last 2 years of my time coaching in real estate, I totally lost interest in learning about real estate altogether. 100% of my energy was on my coaching business. And like I said, that's when I made my pivot. This is a picture of me on the very first call that I had with, some guys who hired me to help them become a coach. In fact, this guy here, Blake, now makes more money than I do as a coach. He has like a 50 to 100K per month real estate coaching business. But I just did this little beta group where I reached out to my real estate clients. I was like, does anyone want to be a coach? I'm doing a little pilot program. And these 3 guys agreed to be in it. And man, after a few hours talking about real estate, I would go to the back porch and swig a beer because I would just be fried and I needed to decompress. But when I switched to doing this, when I got off the calls with these guys, I felt lit up, jazzed up, excited, run to tell my wife, about how it went. And just, I would share my success stories from my clients. My assistant even commented that I seemed happier in my weekly videos. I finally felt aligned with my work, okay? There was no longer this misalignment between what I was interested and what I actually created and what I helped people with. At the end of the day, you're going to have to make this decision. I wanted to share my story because this is what I learned and is what I believe now. I don't have a crystal ball on exactly what you should do, but my belief is that whatever you do, you need to fall in love with the game in order to succeed. Now, if you do not know what you are passionate about, let's talk about that. So when I first got into coaching, I actually had trouble identifying what I was passionate about. If you've been going through the motions at a day job for years, like a lot of people have, it's possible to lose touch with the things that light you up. But just know that that part of you has not died. It is just covered up and you can still uncover it. How to reconnect with that? I'm going to give you a lot of options. I learned these originally from Brendan Burchard when I was trying to figure this out. See what pops up for you as you go through this, okay? So go to your bookshelf or look on your Audible app and look at the last 10 books you've read. Write down the topics they are about. Go to your podcast app, see what shows you listen to the most, check your YouTube watch history and write down the themes, and ask your friends, ask your significant other and be like, what do I love to talk about the most? If you are at a dinner party and you're bored and tired and you overhear somebody talking about blank, suddenly you perk up, you get more energy and become engaged. Now, what did you hear them talking about? Think about the last time you got really amped up about talking about something. What topics stoke the flames of your passion, even causing you to ramble or annoy people? Guess what? I do that all the time. I'm sure you could never picture that, but don't catch me at the coffee shop talking about this online coaching thing because it's dangerous. Now, imagine yourself in the library all alone, locked in for the day, no one else there. There's books on every subject imaginable, a huge comfy couch by the fireplace. Your agenda is just to enjoy yourself. You cruise the aisles for the hour. You get a big pile of books, take them over to the couch. What types of books did you grab, right? And we're looking for nonfiction books. Like, what nonfiction books would you read purely out of pleasure? Now, if you are juggling, here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find out what's most fun and exciting and interesting for you. If nothing is popping up, you're probably juggling more than one option. It's not that you're not interested in anything. It's just that you have 2 or 3 main things, and they might be very different from each other. The easy way to pick is if you're equally passionate about 2 different niches, choose the one that you have the most skill and experience in, because that's just going to be a multiplier effect to help you succeed. Now, if you're more passionate about one niche and you're more skilled in the other, which is the more likely scenario, I would go with the one I was most passionate about, because I would have the best chance of staying consistent with that over the long haul. And the skills that I lack, I could make up. I believe everything's learnable. I mean, information is free everywhere now. It doesn't take that long if you really love something to catch up in terms of skill. Like if I developed an absolute love for playing the saxophone or something, and I devoted every ounce of me to it, I believe I could be decent at it in a matter of months. And I believe the same thing is true for you. It just comes down to whatever you're going to be intrinsically motivated to do. And the last thing I'll say is just choose one to start, but you won't be prevented from broadening down the road. Okay. Like if you aren't sure if you want to help people with nutrition or fitness, right? Those go together. And if you build up an audience of people that have come to you for advice on nutrition, once you've hit a certain level of saturation, you can add in, you say, I've also got this fitness program that I'm launching soon. I'm writing a book or a course, or I'm doing coaching as sort of an add-on to my nutrition program. You can do that, but just don't try to do both at the same time. It's not niched down enough for you to gain traction as you start. All right, I hope that was helpful for you. If you want the deep dive on how to nail your niche, my book, Nail Your Niche, will walk you through that. It's on Amazon. You can get it at nailyourniche.net, which is my website, which includes a bunch of other bonuses when you buy it there. It comes with all these different bonus courses along with the book itself. That is all I've got for you guys. I hope that was valuable for you, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.